Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for listening and welcome back to another episode of the Business Owners Freedom Formula Show, where we chat with inspiring entrepreneurs and dig into their highs, lows, and everything in between of their business building journey and learn about how they've been able to achieve ultimate freedom. In today's episode, episode number 10, we have another great guest with us here today, and we are going to jump right in. As a former NFL cheerleader and Fortune 500 executive, where she was promoted 7 times in 8 years, Kelly Roach brings a powerful combination of proven and profitable business growth strategies coupled with the mindset, wellness, and productivity practices required to help entrepreneurs build a profitable business around a life they absolutely love. Kelly's passion and purpose is in helping entrepreneurs around the world achieve exponential profit, sales, and income growth. Kelly is also on a mission to help 1 million people become financially free through her results coaching, but also founded Campaign for Humanity, a charity initiative support our global family with things such as clean drinking water, help for veterans, and food for those in need. You can check out Kelly's philanthropic work and donate at kellyroachcoaching.com/giving back. A little plug there for her charitable work. And Kelly runs business coaching programs, mastermind groups, online courses, and does private consulting with individuals and organizations. So clearly she's staying busy and must have something in place to keep all that in line while building that life she absolutely loves. So that is Kelly Roach from Kelly Roach Coaching. Welcome, Kelly. Thanks so much for being here. How's it going?
Oh my goodness, it's going great. And thank you so much for having me here and especially for the warm, great introduction there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to really dig into your journey. Obviously, you've done a lot of cool things to get you where you are here today. So that's really where we're going to get started. We're going to kind of take a look at your journey. And, obviously you were very successful in corporate America. Why did you leave corporate America in the first place?
Yeah, definitely. So, for me, I had this big goal and this big vision when I started my career of making a lot of money and having power and influence and, flying on the jet planes and doing all of those things that we all imagine, when we went through college and were kind of raised up. And I had no clue about the entrepreneurial world. It wasn't even on my radar. But, what I discovered as I kept moving up and up and up through the corporate ladder was every time I got a promotion, I had less time to spend the money that I was making. And so it got to a point where it was significantly impacting my health. I was missing out on time with friends and family. I didn't feel like I ever had an opportunity to breathe and enjoy the success that I was creating. And I realized that success is more than one dimension, right? It's not just having, financial or career, quote unquote, career success. It's really about fulfillment and about doing work that matters and about making an impact and helping people and having a life that you love. And, also I did all of that obviously in my 20s. So I didn't have a family and, it was a very different life. But as you grow and you realize what the true priorities and values of your life are, you realize that and especially in my case, I realized that I wasn't going to go find a job that was going to create these things for me, right? It's something that only you can construct because you have to build something that is unique and customized to you, your family, your value system, the priorities that you have for your life. And so I just realized, hey, I have a passion for coaching and teaching. I love sales and marketing. Why not take this skill that's been making this one company millions of dollars and actually go help the people that really need it, which are the small business owners out there.
Awesome. And I think that last sentence really does sum it up. It really allowed you the opportunity to actually serve other people instead of serve stockholders and shareholders and a CEO that really doesn't really care. Even though you were promoted that many times, there was no gratification, fulfillment.
Right.
And I could definitely relate. That's pretty much the exact same reason I left corporate America as well. So, so you were climbing the ladder, and then what was kind of that moment where you just said, okay, I'm going to take this leap and I'm going to go for it. And did you just do that completely, or were you working it on the side at first and then made that transition? How did that work?
Yeah, definitely. So for me, it wasn't like there wasn't one like opening of the sky moment where it was like, this is it, I'm doing this. It was a culmination of a lot of things. Like I said, so my background, I was an NFL cheerleader. I was an aerobics instructor. I was a marathon runner, and all of that was like gone. Like my passion and my energy level was so low. I was putting on weight. I wasn't taking care of myself. It was just so many things that just added up to like scream in my face and say like, something's wrong here. And if you keep going on this path that you're on, you're going to be in the hospital. You're not going to be on the beach. And so so it was a culmination of things. And, it was just really, I think, getting clear on life, like the bigger picture of life, instead of just kind of having tunnel vision. And so that was kind of a process over a few years of me realizing and recognizing that. And like I said, I didn't even know about entrepreneurship. So I never had planned out my life oh, okay, I'm going to do this for this amount of years and then go become an entrepreneur. It was more like a light bulb went off and I realized there is no other way. That is the only way. And I did start my business on the side, and I did start off by working before work and after work and during my lunch break and all of those things. And, eventually that allowed me to then, turn the tables and take it full time. But yeah, I mean, entrepreneurship is such a crazy thing. And I think so many people that end up as entrepreneurs, you just realize there is no other way, right? There's nothing else that you can construct to so perfectly fit your life, your goals, your family, than building your own business that's by design.
Yeah, and that is totally true. And I think, now with social media and everybody sharing everything, and everybody sees the pinnacle of entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. And I think what you hit on, you were doing this in the morning, on your lunch break, in the evenings, on the weekends, because you knew it was that short-term investment for that long-term gain, whereas the corporate world is really a long-term investment. Right. You work until you're 65 or 70, and like you said, then you can't enjoy the beach. You're working yourself into the ground, and then by the time it is time to retire, it's like, I've got nothing left. So I think the key there is, you really did have to put in that work to just even get it started, which is really interesting, because you went from being a rock star in the corporate world to then starting back over with a brand new business, no clients. Give us a look into the first days, months, weeks of that humbling experience of, now I got to start all the way at the bottom again.
Yeah, it was tough for sure. And I think that's one of the things that gets people, right, when they start a business, because you go from comfort of knowing everything and being able to go in and have a somewhat controlled existence, right, to entrepreneurship, which I quickly learned the only way to succeed in entrepreneurship is every day trying new things, every day testing new things, every day being willing to fail, which from and through those failures, you figure out what works and what doesn't. And so that was really, really tough. I think just it's hard to go from a situation where you're having success to going and starting over from zero. And even when you're utilizing a similar skill set that you know inside and out, and that you're an expert in, that you've been doing for a decade, when you start over and you're starting a new business and you're suddenly now promoting yourself, and you don't have anything to fall back on because you're like, hey, I'm starting this business, it's hard, and I think that's one of the things that stops entrepreneurs. But I always say it's really, really important to take the time to reflect on your success and accomplishments in your previous life and figure out how those success and accomplishments bridge the cross between where you are and where you're going. Because I think so many people don't acknowledge and celebrate and build in what they did previously into what they're trying to do, that's why they struggle to present a compelling message that gets people to buy from them in their small business, because they're not leaning on the past. And you have to lean on the past and bridge the past into the future. Even if you're going into a different business or a different industry, there's things that you did, there's experiences that you had, there's successes that you've had that set you up and allow you to be better positioned to help people now. But you have to take the time to really look at that and evaluate and strategically put those things together.
Very well said, and totally agree. I think, as entrepreneurs, and even when you're in the corporate world, you're always looking, especially in the corporate world, you're always looking forward. What are we going to do next quarter? Mm-hmm. How are we going to hit our goals for the next 6 months? What is the year end going to look like? And then when you're an entrepreneur, you're always trying to climb, when sometimes if you just look back, and see what the cool things you've done, you might be able to leverage that, and get you where you want to go much quicker. And it's just, I think that's the way we are, kind of human nature, is always looking forward, always wanting more, when you might have the answer if you just take a look back.
Exactly. Yeah.
So kind of looking back, when did you leave corporate America for good? How long have you been at this full time for yourself now?
Yeah. So I started my business in 2012, and I stayed full time for about 2 years after that. And, I always tell people it's really important to know and understand how long the process is going to take. People have such an unrealistic expectation of themselves and their businesses. And that's why I have clients and I have people ask me all the time, like, should I have a job while I'm starting my business? Should I think about working part-time? And I always say to them, it really comes down to three things. Like, number one, do you have enough savings for 2 to 3 years to both support yourself and support the expenses of the business? Do you have right? Do you have a situation where you need no money coming in for that period of time? And are you willing to spend all the money that you spent years saving just to float yourself for that amount of time? And it goes back to what I think that you said earlier, Paul, which is, I think the online world presents such a mangled picture of what it really takes to build a business and what it really looks like in the building phases of a business. I mean, you're scrapping. Like, the people that, get to that level of success, typically have like one of a few situations happen. Either they went into massive debt, right? And spent everything they had and mortgaged the house and did that route, or they did it, while working other jobs, whether part-time, multiple part-time jobs or a full-time job and something on the side or whatever. I mean, there's so much more to it than what you see in an Instagram or Facebook ad. Let's put it that way.
Yes. You can't go from 0 to 7 figures in the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
If you see that, you can click on the ad, but don't keep your hopes up. And I think that really is important. You have the choice of, what am I going to sacrifice? Is it time? Is it money? For the short term, as long as you believe in your business, but know that it does take time. And when you see people having overnight success, they were in your shoes at one time. Kelly was working, like a maniac in the corporate world, doing this before, during lunch, after work, all this stuff for 2 years before you made the move, and even, and then they just see you all of a sudden. It's like, wow, she's had great success, but we really need to see, that's just the tip of the iceberg. What's underneath is all the hard work, sweat equity, time, sacrifice to now you have that freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So now kind of fast forwarding into that, what's the normal day in the life of Kelly Roach now? As you've built a family, you've built a very successful business, and obviously now you're getting into the philanthropic world as well.
Yeah. Well, I think my biggest accomplishment, so I have a daughter, she's 3, and I retired my husband so that he could be home full time with her. So we're both home with my daughter every day, which is amazing.
Awesome.
It's the biggest blessing of life. And, it's so important because you only have such a short time with them. We went yesterday when we were looking at a preschool for her. So like, our time is like running out that she's going to be home before she goes to school. And so that was one of the biggest accomplishments of my life, to be able to financially provide for my family through this business in a way that we could make the most important decision, I think, of our lives, which was for us to be present in our daughter's lives and for us to be the ones like raising her and preparing her to go out into the world, which is, she's going to be about to do when she starts preschool in fall, So, for me, every day is a little bit different. A lot of times I get up, the first thing I do is, my gratitude exercise, my meditation, physical exercise, drink a lot of water, get my day going. And I typically try to do my most important work first thing in the day. I get up a lot earlier than my husband and my daughter. So I try to get in that key time there. And then every day is a little bit different, but most of the time, I'm working during the daytime hours. I have some time in between that I, spend some time with my daughter, visit whatever. And then in the evening, that's family time. And that's my time to I take my daughter to swim lessons. We go to the park, we do fun stuff together. But it's not having to live someone else's life. It's getting to, I was just talking to my husband last night and I was saying, I think this summer I'm going to take all the Fridays off, every Friday off. Cause we have a pool. We want to be outside with my daughter. We want to be able to spend time together as a family. And it's being able to make decisions like that, where it's like, hey, I want this family time. Let me structure the day to be able to support that. Let me structure the week to be able to support that.
Awesome. Well done there. And really kudos to you for building that, building, and it's one of the quotes we said, and we'll kind of hit on it, is, the importance of building a business around a life you love instead of building that life around a business or job. And clearly you've been able to accomplish that. I mean, that's really exciting. And I'm fortunate and blessed enough to do the same, where I can be home every day.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't have to go to work. We have a 10-month-old daughter, so we can all,
Oh, so it's exactly,
yeah.
yes.
And my morning is the exact same. I get up a
Yeah.
couple hours before
Yep.
they do. And I have a thing right here on my desk, do the most important thing first every
Yes.
day.
Yes.
So then it just sets up your day for success, and you do the gratitude, you do the meditation, you do your exercise, whatever works. But I think just getting started on that right foot really does set you up for success. And kind of hitting on that for the business owners out there who are kind of feeling like they're just grinding and, just constantly spinning the wheels. Why is it so important to build that business around the life that they love?
Well, number one, you won't make it if you don't. I mean, like figuratively, and then like actually, in actuality, you won't. Like, building a business is such an immense labor of love. It takes years to get the business to the point. I'm still not satisfied with where my business is. I don't know if I ever will be. But looking back where I was, 5 years ago, scrambling, doing a coaching call in my car on my lunch break, to now having a team of 5 people, like, if it wasn't a labor of love, where it was a business completely designed with such intention around what I wanted for my family, I wouldn't have had the perseverance and the persistence and the ability to keep going even on those down days where you just want to put your head on the table and be like, oh my God, why am I doing this? Like, everything's going wrong, nothing's going my way. And you do have those days, right? So you have to build a business around a life you love, because otherwise you won't be able to sustain it. Otherwise it will be a short-term win, and it will be something that ultimately there won't be any legacy. There won't be any benefit to your family, your children. You won't be able to stick with it for long enough if it doesn't really match your value system and really be built around life and not the other way around. You have to be able to sustain something over a period of decades in order for not only you to stay healthy enough to continue, but for you to have the desire to put the work in to arrive at the end result that you're looking to achieve.
Awesome. And you hit on something where, as you've grown your team, you started out doing everything. Now you've delegated a lot of the work, so you can continue to scale, serve more people, and build that business around the life that you love. So obviously we're all about systems and processes here as well. So why have those been so important and integral to obviously building this team that you have, that you can trust with the work, that you've really, your labor of love when you first started this whole thing?
Yeah. I mean, team is everything. Team is absolutely everything. I mean, I run, my mastermind is called Legacy Leaders, and the entire program is focused on helping high 6 and 7 figure leaders to build out the infrastructure, the org chart of their organization, so that they can step away from running the day-to-day of their business and have the right team in place to do that. And it takes years to successfully accomplish that feat. That's not a short-term thing. Team is everything. You cannot do it all. You can't be it all. And you will not ultimately have a business that you love if you can't get yourself in a position to do that. I always say, work as hard and as fast as you possibly can to get to the 100K mark, so that you can do 3 things: take an income, pay for advertising, and hire a team. Once you do that, it's very easy to then springboard to 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, because those are the core things that allow you to stay in the game, have the leverage and scale to be able to move up. And then the paid advertising obviously is like the rocket fuel that gives you the visibility and the exposure that's necessary to be able to make those big leaps forward. So as far as systems are the only way to effectively delegate and get to the point where you don't have to have your hands in every aspect of the business. And so in essence, it's the only way you can actually grow. Because if you hire a team, but yet you're a mess and there's no systems, there's no structure, there's no policies, procedures, automation, then even though you have people, you still have to get your hands in everything. You still have to go in and course correct all the time. You still have to go in and change all of these things, which defeats the entire purpose of why you're paying them, which means you're then losing that money instead of making money by having them on the team so that you can leverage up and do more.
And that's usually where everyone gets frustrated and they'll say, forget it, I'll just do it myself.
Exactly. And that's why it's like, for me, I bring people through the Unstoppable Entrepreneur program. And then, as they've put all of those systems for growth in place, and the marketing and the engineering your celebrity, and they really understand understand the things that they need to be doing from a growth standpoint, from a tactics and strategy standpoint, then it all goes to team. Because after that, team is everything, because you're one person, and the limit to what one individual can do in a business is severe. It's severely restricted, right?
Totally. Yeah, and I think I know one of your big things, it's on your website, and you kind of hit on it briefly, talking about a few small tweaks to add an additional 100K to a business. Dig into that a little bit. What's that all about, and how can our listeners, get some good takeaways from that?
Yeah, definitely. So, a couple things, we so overcomplicate the process of working with clients. I have a whole program. It's called the Simple 0 to 100K System. And this program walks you through how to go from 0 to 100K in 6 months in your business by building $8,333 a month in recurring revenue. So, number one, you have to have a product or program in which people are willing to pay a premium for your knowledge and expertise, so that getting to that number each month, getting to that 100K is simple and manageable and can be done with one person. Because if you're trying to get 100K, you're at the beginning stages of your business, you probably don't have a lot of help, which means you can't have 1,000 clients in order to get there. So step one is create a program or a product where people are paying you a premium for your knowledge in at least 6-month increments, so that you have recurring revenue at a high dollar amount, which reduces the number of clients that you need in order to get to 100K. So look at that $8,333 and figure out what is the highest dollar price point I could go out and get for the knowledge and expertise that I have, that gets that number of clients needed down as low as humanly possible. Right? So recurring revenue, it's pricing, it's getting people to pay for your knowledge and expertise, and then it's figuring out what segment of my market do I want to focus on in order to do that. So for example, if you bring in even just a couple corporate clients or a couple businesses to the mix of your business, now all of a sudden you have a company that's willing to pay 20 times what an individual is for essentially the same thing. So when you talk about reducing the number of clients needed in that 8,000 number in order to do that, those are some of the core components of how we get people there quickly and how you can get there quickly. But it's about strategy, and it's about really engineering it and being extremely smart in how you approach it, and not just throwing spaghetti at the wall, posting 100 times on social media, or thinking that if you just, go and post in a group 5 times over, there has to be like real business. And I think that has been the downfall and the disadvantage of online marketing today. It's been oversimplified and overcomplicated at the same time, to the point that people are so confused that they've lost the essence of what business is. It's offering a product or service, making a transaction, and getting paid for it. And so that comes down to getting people on the phone every week that you can close and get them to pull out their credit card and give you their information so you can process a payment. And if people just focus on, for example, getting 3 conversations a week with prospects, boom, there's no way that you're not going to see month over month, week over week growth in your business.
That's great. And I think, for any business out there, no matter what you're doing, I think that key takeaway is getting that recurring revenue, having some sort of, membership model, or getting someone to pay you every month or every 6 months to then give you, as you said, the rocket fuel. Once you get to 100K, you have the rocket fuel to then go to paid advertising and go to teams. So you can leverage time and you can leverage your money, because clearly you were fine without that 100K. So take that 100K, reinvest it into your business, into people and processes, and then you can go to 200, 400, 800 much quicker. So thank you so much for giving some really good actionable takeaways there. So wanted to kind of dive into sounds like this is one of your biggest current project, is your campaign for humanity. So give our listeners a little bit more into kind of how that came about, and then how we could get involved as well to help that cause.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, the mission of my company has always been to help people to become financially free. So even though I teach on business and all of my products and programs are about growing your own business, the whole goal and purpose behind that is to help people become financially free. But as I've grown the business, and as we've, achieved financial success and achieved a lot of our milestones as a company, and there's still so many more to go, of course, it gets to a point where you want to expand the reach that you have beyond just the people that can afford to pay you. And there's a lot of people out there that, yes, we'd like to help through our products and programs, but they're not even in a position to be able to, even if they had the free podcast that I'm doing, the free videos, all of that, they're not even in a position to have the basic essentials of life. And so, it just gets to a point where making an impact and doing something of significance becomes just as important as doing something that allows you to achieve success. And so it's really just about being a part of the human family, encouraging people to focus on something bigger than themselves, change someone's life every day. For $30, you can bring someone clean drinking water for life. And so every month we make a donation to Charity Water. We have a goal of building our first own well this year. So we make donations every single month from the company, and we encourage, our listeners, our podcast listeners, our community, our clients to do the same. We do donate to different causes every month. So like last month, we paid for a surgery through Operation Smile for someone that had a cleft palate. So it's just looking for opportunities to just be the change, be the change in little small ways that one by one can impact someone's life, in a positive way. And we're hoping that has a domino effect in encouraging anyone that becomes a part of our community or comes in contact with me to want to feel compelled to also participate in that and keep paying it forward and getting more people involved.
That is great. Really well done there. And I always, no matter what it is, whether it's charity work, business work, life, the Zig Ziglar quote of help enough people get to where they want to go and you'll be just fine and taken care of. And I think, you've gotten to the point where you've served all these people that can afford to pay for your services. Yeah. You've served these businesses, you've served these people, and you've made ridiculous changes to their life and their freedom. Yeah. And now you're able to do that and hopefully bring others along to, help everybody around the world. Like you said, at the end of the day, we're all humans and we're all one big family. So yeah. We will link everything up on our show notes on our website as well for anybody that wants to get involved there. So now kind of looking into the future, what are the future plans for you and your business?
Yeah, definitely. Well, right now we're getting ready to really springboard into ramping up our focus on online courses. And we have a couple courses we're getting ready to relaunch. And my focus this year has been doing very, very intense training with my 3 sales team members that are still learning how to, effectively market in this space and get to the point where they hit their sales targets every single week. Luckily for me, I am a sales coach, so
that always helps.
In space, so that's good. But that's the focus of the year right now, is really getting my team to the point where they're hitting their sales targets every single month, because that's how we can then keep expanding and branching out. And it's what I said earlier, in order to keep growing, you can't have to be involved in every aspect of the business. I want to continue to be out there and be serving people and making the biggest difference possible by, continuing to ramp up what we're doing with the podcast and, going live on video and just sharing and teaching and helping people go further faster and accomplishing their dreams. So it's going to be about getting the team leveraged up, getting the courses leveraged up, because of course, I'm one person, so there has to be those assets that can self-perpetuate. So kind of moving into a lot more of like the passive streams that the team can work to scale up with or without me.
Awesome. And that is exciting. And I think that's everyone's end goal, is to get that business to thrive without you. No matter where you're at, the revenue will continue to come in. As your daughter gets older, you're going to want to spend more and more time with her and go to her school events and go to her sports events and arts and all that. And when you can serve others and you have the time to do so, that's really what you're good at. But then it also frees up your time when you put those systems in place and put the automation in place, so that revenue comes in no matter where you're at or what you're doing. So that is awesome. Kelly, as you know, all good things do come to an end. Unfortunately, this has been great. I know I've gotten a lot out of it. We've talked many times before, but every time we chat, I do come away with something valuable that I can implement, and hopefully everybody else out there can do as well. So we are all about freedom, so we don't want to take up too much more of your time or our listeners' time. But before we sign off, it is time for our rapid recommendations for all things related to systems, automation, and freedom. So I've got 6 topics here. I'm going to give them to you one at a time. You're going to give our listeners one thing that they can go check out today, whether it's a book, a quote, a tool, anything like that. So the first thing we have is one book that you would recommend anybody out there to check out.
Oh, definitely The Answer, John Assaraf. Yeah.
Awesome. The Answer, John Assaraf. What about one quote that you like to live by?
Well, be the change, Mahatma Gandhi.
Easy enough, and you can take that and use that for your life. So be the change. What about one tool that you like to use in your business?
We love Basecamp. We use Basecamp to manage and prioritize, rank, and give timelines to all of our team members' tasks. So that's been really helpful for us.
Excellent. What about one podcast that you like to listen to on a regular basis?
I actually love The Self-Made Man, Mike Dillard. I know that's kind of randomly weird. I'm probably like the only woman listener, but I love his show and I think it's incredibly valuable.
Excellent. What about one community, whether it's a local community, in-person community, or online community that you like to hang out in?
Yeah, well, I would say as far as community, what I'm really focused on right now is Charity Water and the community that they're building and the people's lives that they're trying to change. So go donate to Charity Water.
Awesome. And that well that you said you were looking to for you to get started this year, where would that be located?
They pick all of the locations, so we don't get to actually orchestrate where they're going to put it or anything like that. But once we have enough raised, we can work with them and then we'll find out. And my hope and my goal, and this is what I talk to my team about all the time, is I have this dream and this vision of us like being there when they're breaking ground, on something that we raise the money to build. So keep your fingers crossed for us.
Awesome. And we'll definitely link up Charity Water so you guys can help Kelly get there quicker. And then lastly, one parting piece of advice for a business owner out there who is stuck, burned out, or just trying to get over the hump.
Just be kind to yourself. You're human, and part of the journey to success is learning and growing through the setbacks, obstacles, and challenges. And it's in fact those things that then become part of your brand and part of your story and part of how you can teach and help people. So everything that you're going through right now is there for a reason. It's there so that when you make it to the other side, you can teach about it and you can help other people going through it. So stay faithful, stay full with hope, be kind to yourself, be gentle on yourself, and make sure that you exercise, because without your health, wealth means nothing.
Totally true. So you can't take care of your clients or your customers if you're not taking care of yourself. Yeah. So put yourself first. It is okay to be selfish in that aspect when you got to take care of your health, because without that, nothing else matters. So Kelly Roach, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to impart some of your knowledge, wisdom, and enthusiasm to our community. Hopefully this helps everyone out there get one step closer to achieving ultimate freedom in their business and in life. But before we sign off, where can our listeners go to keep in touch with you?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I would say the best place is to check out Unstoppable Success Radio. If you are looking to build a freedom-based business and get tips, strategy, inspiration, motivation, education on how to do that, Unstoppable Success Radio is the best place to find me.
Perfect. And that is a fantastic podcast. And if you want to check out her website, it's kellyroachcoaching.com. Or if you want to follow her on Facebook, she always has some great videos popping up in my newsfeed, facebook.com/Kelly Roach International. So we'll link all that up on our website, paulmaskell.com. So whenever you need it, head on over there. So Kelly, thanks again for taking some time out of your day to hang out with us.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
It was fun. We'll definitely stay in touch and see how all of your charity work as well as your business work progresses. Everybody else out there, stay tuned for next week's episode as we dive into another fantastic interview with Don Hutchison from Discover Your Talent. And if you like what you're hearing, we'd always appreciate a friendly review, subscribe, or share with your friends if you want them to check it out as well. Lastly, don't forget, you can join our free Facebook group at bizfreedomformula.com, where we can continue the conversation with like-minded entrepreneurs who are also listening to the show and putting the plans in place to work less, make more, and achieve ultimate freedom while increasing the value of their business. So until next time, keep rocking, trust the process, and talk to you soon.